Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Effect episode 109. We got draft winners and losers for you guys today. We do have our own free Discord, not a free Patreon. We do have a Patreon as well. DM us if you guys are interested in that on Twitter and or Blue Sky. Like, comment, and subscribe to the video if you guys are watching tonight. And as always, Holler and McSpanky are with me. How's it going tonight, guys?
It's going, dude. The draft has come and gone. Rookie drafts are in full swing. It's good times. This is one of the best times of the year. So, and now we have, I don't know what, like 5 months to debate about what these rookies are going to do, and then I'll be wrong and come September, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, so I was looking at when the first game is this year. I'm assuming it's like around September 4th. So we are like almost exactly 5 months and like a couple days change. So I'm looking forward to it. I still have a lot of rookie drafts going on. I feel like the third and fourth rounds kind of drag out a bit. More than obviously the first two, but people get busy. But yeah, no, it's been fun. The draft, in my opinion, was a lot of surprises. Some guys dropped more than I thought. Obviously, we knew about Shedeur Sanders with the tumble, but yeah, nothing like crazy happened. I feel like outside of Shedeur,
Shedeur is definitely the biggest one for sure. I think that a lot of guys no one really like slid a ton. Other than a couple running backs I thought were going to go earlier, day 3 went a lot later, like Jaden Blue and like Brashard Smith, I think is one that I think fell all the way down to like the 7th round. That was kind of weird.
Devin Neal,
Ricky White at wide receiver, Devin Neal. Ollie Gordon went a little bit later than I thought he would too. Like some of those guys that I thought were going to go more like in the 4th round ended up going like 6th, 7th, and kind of just like killed some of their value. But
so like a guy like Devin Neal, I know kind of killed his value a little bit, but I think it's a good landing spot. So I think I'm going to kind of hold on to that a little bit, right? I mean, he's got, not all my rookie drafts are done, but I've got 11% of Devin Neal, which is only 6 shares, but still, like, I've gotten him anywhere between 3 and like 3rd and 4th round. I've seen sometimes people, because his ADP is still up a little higher, I've seen him go, I think, by accident in the 2nd round, which is to me is too high. So, but I just think it's a good, like a good landing spot, good situation there. Kendre Miller is clearly not it. So yeah, I think he will be able to get some run.
Maybe,
but you never know, right? But
new coaching staff.
Totally. And they drafted him, right? So I think when you're looking in your 3rd and 4th rounds, like you want to look at, I feel like I don't just, you look at the whole picture, right? You want to look at, obviously draft capital matters, but for me, like 3rd and 4th round, I feel like that opportunity and landing spot like matter a bit more to me than the draft capital.
Sure.
I'm not going to go out be like, oh, I'm going to take Devin Neal in the 2nd over another guy that was drafted earlier, right? I'm just saying 3rd and 4th round, like you're trying to find guys that, could possibly flourish, and they need to do that in a good landing spot and a team that believes in the player.
Yeah, and I mean 3rd and 4th round, most of the time your rookies are gonna. I mean, they're gonna sit on your taxi squad if you have one, or the end of your bench, and then they're gonna be gone after you draft next year's rookies because they didn't do anything, and you're gonna drop them. So, I mean, it's not like super high stakes, right? If you take a guy and he ends up being nothing, right? Like it's oh well, and you try again next year. So every once in a while you hit that Puka Nacua in the 3rd, 4th round, right? And so
the sweetness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I luckily I hit on him, and that was nice. And last year, like I wouldn't say call it my Puka, but my kind of my late round smash was Tyrone Tracy. This year, you never know who it's going to be, right? And so I kind of changed my mindset a little bit this year with the rookies. I kind of spread it out. Like I still have like 20 shares of Tyrone Tracy, right? And it's just, in my opinion, when you have that many, it's just hard to like actually move off of them to make it like you actually kind of won. Because I think overall, like a Tyrone Tracy is probably not going to be the same as he was last year. Obviously, Cam Scatterbo came in, so I just think there's there could be another Puka, but not to that extent.
That running back room is sneaky, kind of gross. Now there's Tracy, Singletary's still there, and then Scadaboo's there as well. Like, there's a possibility. I know people are excited about Scadaboo, but I think a lot of it's like they forgot about Devin Singletary, who's still a piece there that I think will still get some. So there's a possibility that could be a 3-way backfield in a not so awesome offense. So, I've seen Scadaboo go as high as like 202, which like in Superflex, which feels like we're reaching for a running back. Like maybe the top like 5 or 6 guys or so are gone, and you're just like the Genties, Hamptons, Hendersons, Judkins, RJ Harvey, and Caleb Johnson are gone, and so they're like, well, crap, I got to get one, and then they just
the earliest I took him was 204, and it was when I had like, I don't know, probably 20, 25 drafts going at one time, and you're on the clock and you just feel like, oh man, I don't want to be the person that waits. And so it's just like, crap, I'll get him. Right. So I don't know. I just think it's possible. He's a bruiser. So I think he could possibly take over that backfield. And I think, we already saw Tyrone Tracy had a little bit of fumble issues. So I think a lot of people are thinking Scadaboo is going to be that red zone guy, which I think could happen, but right now it's all just talk, right? So I do agree. Like 2-3, 2-4 is a little early for me. I think 206, that 208 is a nice sweet spot for him. I think I do think a lot of people play with rookies and they just smash running backs, right?
Yeah,
because it's like a next man up kind of thing, right? And you never know what's going to happen with the wide receivers. So I can't fault anybody for taking Scadaboo over some of those, wide receivers that you don't exactly know what's going to happen with them.
Yeah,
that's fair. Go ahead, Ron.
It's just easier to get opportunity as a running back and find out if you have something as a running back. Sure. Say your wide receiver gets on the field, but he doesn't get any targets because he's been working with the third string all year long. He's got no rapport with the quarterback, and it takes, a few more weeks of working in there. Like, running back is just going to get handed the ball. We're going to find out right here, right now, if we have a guy or not. So I think there's a little bit of that to it as well, especially
for example,
in the back ends of the second.
Yeah, like Jared McKinnon's a guy that you could play, like, back in maybe not even 2 years ago now, you could have used as a flex play, and he was like going to get you some points, right? So I feel like, running, like you said, running backs are, much more like the kind of next man up versus wide receivers are like, okay, it's going to take some time for them to actually get up. Like, they'll get on the field, but will they get the targets? Versus running back, they're just going to get the ball and run, right? So I think that's kind of where some people's head is at. I like to diversify a little bit, get myself some of those wide receivers because sometimes they can hit.
Yeah. And it just depends on what happens in your draft too. Like Scadaboo, he's gone by the time I have any picks in the back end of the second. I still have a lot of drafts that, haven't happened as well too. So they could play out differently than what these have as the ADP kind of settles down. Cause it's kind of like the wild, wild west. I feel like I'm just by the back end of the second, all the way through the third to the fifth of some rookie drafts. Like, I'm just scattershot, just whatever I feel the best about right now,
Yep. Agreed. Spank, you want to tell us some of your highest roster rookies so far?
Yeah, for sure. So I've done quite a few drafts. I was just pulling them up, but my top 2 are tied. It's Mason Taylor and Dylan Sampson are some of the biggest ones. Dylan Sampson's been a pretty big smash in the third round. For me, it seems like he's kind of the forgotten running back. He was a good player. I really liked him a lot. I think he fell a little bit more than he probably should have. Ron, I know you're shaking your head, but dude can play. The thing too is that, like, anytime a team double dips at a position, I feel like it's worth grabbing both of them because they clearly aren't happy with that room. And so they're going to just throw guys out there and see. And I know Cleveland wants to run the ball a lot. And so I think Sampson will get some opportunities. I know obviously Judkins is like the higher priority one. But then, I mean, Jerome Ford, I think, poor dude. I think the writing's on the wall. They were not happy with how he's been there in their running back room. So I think Sampson will get opportunities this year. So I'm taking him at third. And then Mason Taylor, I mean, I know Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren are like the big names at tight end. And it seems like for whatever reason, Mason Taylor's kind of the forgotten one, even though he got drafted really high.
Second.
I know the Jets aren't the most attractive landing spot. People don't love the passing option with Justin Fields, but I mean, Cole Kmet was good with Justin Fields a couple years back in Chicago. They really don't have a ton of options on that offense. Yeah, I love Mason Taylor, and I feel like he's fallen. Like I've gotten him kind of like middle of the second round, late second round in some drafts, and it's just like I don't fully understand. I took him as high as I think I took him at 110 in a draft, but that was a 2 tight end league, so it was a little bit skewed, but those are 2 of my guys. And then some other ones, Jarquez Hunter. He's another 3rd round guy that I like, sometimes even in the 4th round. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I think the writing might be on the wall for Kyren Williams to walk in free agency after this year. He's in the last year of his deal. Matthew Golden, Genty. I had quite a few tankers that got 101. Jaden Higgins is a guy I'm taking a ton to, early 2nd round, playing outside of Nico Collins out in Houston. I think that's a revitalized passing attack that I'm excited to see. And then Terrence Ferguson. The Rams used the tight end pretty heavily. I mean, Colby Parkinson was used a ton. Tyler Higbee. Neither of those guys are super athletic. I think Terrence Ferguson's kind of a sneaky, really good pick there. Late 2nd round.
Yep. The Rams draft well, so if they're going to spend 2nd round capital on the tight end,
generally they do.
I'm pretty sure they're going to use him quite a bit. And for me, like he's probably option number 4. Outside of Puka, Devontae Adams, they didn't really grab any other wide receivers in the draft. And then Kyren is also like he catches the ball, and then after that, it's pretty open. So I think Ferguson. And we've seen Higbee many times. Like we know what he is. He's older, so I think, and I'm sure it's just smoke, and they're talking about it like, oh, they love their draft pick, but they said they would have taken him in the 1st round, right? So they think very highly of Terrence Ferguson. So for me, unfortunately, I haven't got very many shares of him, but I think he's going to be a smash if you've gotten him in the middle of the 2nd or the end of the 2nd. I do have a really good feeling about that one. And then for me, I got Ty Felton. Obviously, he was one of my guys that I, was waiting to see where he went, and he ended up getting, some solid capital, right? So I think he's going to be a nice wide receiver 3. Obviously, I've gotten him in the 4th round, sometimes in the back end of the 3rd. Obviously, he's not a guy that I'm going to start every week, but he's a guy that if something happens to Jordan Addison, I think he can get some good points. And then Jarquez Hunter. I know the Rams don't think too much of Blake Corum, and they still haven't signed Kyren, right? So we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think he's going to be sneaky good. And then I've just been smashing all the tight ends, to be honest. Like I have Gadsden. I think he's a really good pass catcher. Obviously, don't spend capital on him before the 4th, but I do think it's possible he can get some run. And then Loveland and Elijah Arroyo. Arroyo is more of a guy, in my opinion, that probably could be like year 2, because I still think, I'm going to forget his name, but he's still tight end 1. Yeah, no, thank you. Fant is still the tight end 1 there. So, but yeah, no, I'm.
They don't even really use Noah Fant.
Yeah,
like
no.
So I don't know, but I like Arroyo a lot, and so I'm just probably tempering expectations a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I'm liking where my rookie drafts are going, and it's been good. PSA, I'm going to be spreading mine out next year. I had like 25 going at once. It was just too much, right? So like there's times where I was too much where I was like, oh crap, I'll just grab this guy, and then I go back and I'm like, well shit, that was too early. So I'll spread them out a little bit, and we'll it'll be better. Yeah. So, and then a little bit on Samson, right? So obviously they took
Samson
Judkins in the 2nd, but obviously Judkins was in a like they were used 2 running backs at Ohio State. So I think that's just kind of what they're, like you're grabbing Judkins and you're like, okay, let's pair him with a running back. Obviously he's going to be RB1, but I do think Samson's going to get some run. So I like that pick as well.
I think Samson's by far the better like pass catcher too in that offense.
Yep.
I think he's a little bit more dynamic than Quinshon Judkins is as well.
Yep.
So
100%.
I like this. I think he'll get on the field.
Yeah, not a fan. We'll see. I'm probably wrong. My highest roster right now is Brashard Smith. I love the spot going to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And with his skill set, just being able to play wide receiver and like play legitimate wide receiver. He's not just a running back that can go out and catch passes. He was a wide receiver at one point, so he has that skill set. And then he looked good as a running back too. And then it's Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco on the roster. Carson Steele's probably there too. I think that's dead and gone. He's probably a special teamer. Yeah. Kareem Hunt is obviously, they needed a body by the end of the year. And we'll see with Pacheco. We'll see how he heals. I'm not going to, say that he's dead by any sense of the means. He was, once useful, he still could be. He came off that injury fast, to get back into the playoffs, for the Chiefs or whatever. And I don't know, was he fully ready to be back on the field? Let's give him an offseason to get healthy and kind of see what he has to begin the season. But, just like Brashard, he was once a 7th-round pick. And he's now the starting running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. And for somebody that's in the 4th round, I'll take the shot on that because we'll probably know pretty quickly with, what we can expect and what that running back room looks like.
So I feel like Brashard Smith has gone anywhere from 308 to 408. And so I think people love the spot, but I think they should temper expectations a little bit. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten as much as I would have liked to. I would have loved to pair have Ty Felton and him as my top guys just because I put them as my sleepers on my article that I put together, but I just haven't been able to get as many as I would like. But yeah, I think there should be some good things for Brashard Smith. I was reading on some things about him, and they're thinking he's going to be kind of like a Jerick McKinnon. So that's going to be pretty good. I think he's going to be able to get in your fantasy lineup when you need some extra help. And I think by then he'll be used pretty well.
If he gets on the field, he should be very useful. It's just a matter of if he can crack into the rotation. I hope that he can be maybe like their punt returner or kick returner to get a roster spot, and then all it's going to take is an injury here or there. I think the guys in front of him, I think they brought in Elijah Mitchell. I think it's the name we didn't mention.
Elijah Mitchell. Yeah.
I mean, that dude's living.
That's about healthy. That's one game of
So we'll see. I love the skill set from Brashard Smith. I was really surprised that he fell. I think I mentioned that earlier, but so I don't hate it at all. And in the 4th round, it's what does it cost you, right? If most of the guys in the 4th round aren't going to be anything, they're just going to be on the waiver wire eventually, anyways. So take a shot on a guy that has an opportunity and see what he can do.
Yeah. And then I have Royals and Loveland at 11%.
You took all the Chiefs, didn't you? Jalen Royals.
Dude, and I didn't even do it on purpose. Royals was one of my guys before, before the draft. And honestly, Brashard would have been one of my guys as well. Had Howler not taken him before I had gotten to him, I would have picked Brashard over. I can't even remember what Scootin' Tootin', I think was my guy.
Yeah.
But I really like Royals, and I just like the opportunity because there's a little bit up in the air with Rashee Rice. There's a little bit of murkiness. He's also coming off an injury. He's got some legal things that could possibly, become a thing or not. I own a lot of Rashee Rice, so I would prefer that he's on the field. I'm not wishing anything bad, come from any of this. But I think that if he were not on the field, I think that Royals could kind of take some of that role. And at Kelsey's age and what Xavier Worthy's skill set is, they need somebody to work the middle of the field. We know what Hollywood Brown is, and that's not what he's going to do, is be a yak guy. And I think Royals could do that for the offense if Rice can't be on the field or, isn't ready to be on the field. So he's just kind of got a lot. And kind of like with Brashard, it's the end of the 3rd, the 4th round, the 5th rounds of these rookie drafts when I'm able to scoop him up. So at that point, who cares?
Yeah, and like I was talking about earlier, it's just when you're looking at players in the 3rd and 4th round, to me, obviously there are rankings and things like that, but some guys can go earlier than others, and you're like, wow, guy was early. But if you're thinking about it, like someone like Jalen Royals, he's connected to Patrick Mahomes. That team is really good. Obviously, it's not the most fantasy friendly team per se, but the Chiefs are, like their offense is like humming, right? And so I just think I like what you're saying there. The opportunity is there. They do need we know what Xavier Worthy is. I'm not saying Jalen Royals is going to be better than Xavier Worthy, but it's just that opportunity.
Right. There's a possibility at a shot is kind of what I'm, there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, in that argument.
Yeah. And you can argue that there is in every pick in the 3rd and 4th round.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just gonna say he doesn't have to be better than Worthy or Rashee Rice. He just has to be better than Hollywood Brown, which I don't think is overly difficult to do. I mean, in Royals, I think there was a lot of guys that liked him.
Yeah, sorry, he was actually one I was kind of surprised that like some of the other wide receivers that I didn't even like kind of put my too much thought into it is like they went ahead of him, right? So I was surprised by that as well.
Yeah, so he was one that I saw a lot of draft scouts liked him day 2. So he's one that I was a little surprised he fell to day 3. Good landing spot. I think he can very easily get on the field. So
yeah,
he's got a great skill set. I think he can play outside or inside too. So I think he's versatile, and I mean I'll trust Andy Reid to scheme up to his players, right? So
exactly, like it's hard not to like the landing spot of guys that you had already liked before, at least a creative offensive play caller saw them and was like, I think I could use these guys, in some sort of way. So, it gives me hope that he at least, wants to try. So
let me ask you this, Ron. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, like, it's kind of funny. Like Terrence Ferguson is somebody that like last year when the, new NCAA football video game came out and I was playing with Oregon and like, I was like, who's this guy, Terrence Ferguson? Like, he was good in the game. And then I started watching some games and I was like, this guy could be good. And then it's like
real life too.
Yeah. And then he was good at the combine. I was like, okay, maybe he's like tight end 3, 4 or whatever. And then he's like the 3rd or 4th tight end off the board and he goes to the Rams. Like, dang, he's like super good landing spot. And like, it all worked out really well. So
straight to your team.
Yeah.
He's one that steadily rose up the draft board. He wasn't really talked about, and then he started getting more and more hype, and then he tore it up at the combine.
Yep.
Ron, I was going to ask you. So it looks like you mentioned one of your other ones, Colson Loveland. Are you taking him over Tyler Warren right now?
Yes,
I am.
Care to elaborate on that? Because I think I'm the opposite. I've been taking more Tyler Warren over Colson Loveland, so I'd love to hear why you guys are doing Loveland over.
It's a couple things. I think that Loveland. We've known about Colson Loveland being this prospect for a lot longer, I think, than I've known who Tyler Warren was. Okay. You guys may have known longer than I have for just because you're Debbie circles and things like that. I think Loveland really got dragged down by Michigan quarterback play throughout his career at Michigan.
Wow.
Not with TJ
McCarthy's good.
Listen, he had better quarterback. Look, for 1 year, he had JJ McCarthy turn around and hand the ball to Blake Corum and throw 5 passes a game. All right, come on. Like, he wasn't in the most prolific passing offense to be showcased as a skill set.
I think he's going to pass out.
Tyler Warren was the offense for Penn State. So I think it looks a little bit more flashy and the numbers get to be a little bit more gaudy. And a lot of the stuff he does is really cool. I'm not knocking on Tyler Warren. I do like Tyler Warren. But also, along with Tyler Warren, I also hate the landing spot. I hate the quarterback, Anthony Richardson. I hate Daniel Jones. I hate the Indianapolis Colts. They can't get a flipping quarterback. They can't get a competent quarterback in the room. I know. I love that guy.
Riley Leonard.
I love that guy. Listen, they have a type, and the type is I can run, I can't throw.
I mean, looking at the quarterback room, it's hard to make an argument with that. But here's the thing, right? Okay, Colson Loveland in Chicago. I mean, how many dudes can catch the ball? There's only one ball.
I know.
There's Loveland. There's Komet's there. There's DJ Moore.
How many balls are going to be anywhere near Tyler Warren to catch?
Well, I don't know, but I think the targets are going to be are more. They're going to be more for him.
Listen,
now whether they're on target is a different
I won't argue
conversation.
you on the volume. I won't argue you on the volume, but like, let's get into some
also
deep advanced.
Tyler Warren can play Wildcat quarterback, dude.
I know.
He's good.
I know. He can do everything.
He might be QB1 there.
He's really cool.
He might be the best quarterback on the roster.
Look, I want to take some Tyler Warren, but I wanted to get in my Colson Loveland early, and I wanted to get in a bunch of it. And literally, it just hasn't worked out for me to get any Tyler Warren where I want to. Like, I just have rosters where I want to do other things because I'll have a lot of my rosters already have Sam Laporta, Jake Ferguson, Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, some other tight end. Like, they're already kind of solid at tight end. So I'm like, I just need to stick more running backs in here. So I kind of am leaning other ways because it's such a strong running back class. And every once in a while, I got a really bad wide receiver room, so I just force myself into a wide receiver.
Sure.
So I have them back to back in my rankings, 5 and 6. Colson Loveland I have at 5. Tyler Warren I have at 6. For me, it's been a coin flip. I can talk myself into either one. Wes in the chat says he doesn't think DJ Moore is there for the long term. I don't really think so either. But
real quick on DJ Moore, because I just looked it up. His contract, the earliest they can get out of his contract is 2028. So he's there for at least 3 years unless they trade him and someone wants to eat that salary.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and I think there's so much with Eberflus too that was like bad blood. Like, how much of it had to actually do with Caleb or any of that, or how much was it like the whole Eberflus situation? Like, the team had quit on Eberflus not even a quarter way through the season.
Yeah, I don't take much stock into it because that team was so dysfunctional.
It was a dumpster fire. Like,
yeah,
I'd have quit too. Like, geez.
Also,
Louise,
DJ Moore's the best receiver on the offense, and I know that's not like the popular.
I don't know why they took
people love Rome and Luther Burden,
DJ
but like
Moore does.
DJ Moore is just a better version, and he's proven, and we've actually seen him do it. The other two are we're pumping in a lot of hopium, hoping those two can Rome Odunze and Luther Burden can be good receivers. Where we know DJ Moore is great, so it feels weird that we're trying to run him out of town, and it reminds me a lot of like how many years have we been talking about San Francisco getting rid of one of Debo or Ayuk? Now I know they did finally get rid of Debo, but we were talking about that for like 3 years. Yeah, this is just like this is that new San Francisco wide receiver room, right? We're just like, oh, they're going to get rid of one of them eventually. Well, what if they don't? Then what are we going to do?
So, I think at the end of the day, like, I think I'm at 4 and 2 shares, 4 of Loveland, 2 of Warren. And, so I think I have more too, because a lot of my drafts aren't done. But, like at the end of the day, I think it will really just depend on which way I'm going that day, right? I think they equally have issues with where they landed. I think the landing spot for Tyler Warren is actually really, really good. We just need to figure out that quarterback, right? But he could easily be the top. He could have the most targets out of that pass catching group, right? Just because he commands the ball, and then also they could have wildcat packages. They could have a bunch of things, right? So, I'm right in the middle, right? I'm not really towards one way or the other. I have Loveland ranked ahead, but they're right next to each other. And it's the same thing, in my overall rankings, they'll be right next to each other, probably like 5 and 6 or something like that, right? So it really just depends. I do worry about the quarterbacks in Indianapolis, but I do also worry about the amount of pass catchers in Chicago as well. Like, Cole Kmet's going to get the ball, right? I think him and Loveland will work well together. They're a little bit both. They're different tight ends, but like you've said already, Spanky, there's only one ball.
I feel like
if you're out here poo-pooing on Rome Odunze and Luther Burden and all the hopium people are spewing into them, that opens up a lot of targets for Colson Loveland.
It does. It does, but I like to talk out of both sides of my mouth.
I'm just saying.
I do. Yeah, no, I know. The thing with Warren is that, like, I think, like, is he? I know people like Josh Downs, and I like Josh Downs too, and I like Michael Pittman more than a lot. But like, is Tyler Warren not the best pass catcher on the Colts roster? I think he is. maybe it's up for debate. Maybe that's crazy, but I think
I'll say he's the most useful pass catcher. I think,
and
like Downs is so explosive, and
okay,
like I
that's
don't
fair.
like I don't think of that when I think like I'm not going out there asking Tyler Warren to take the number one coverage and
No,
break him down or anything.
but
I'm hoping for a mismatch.
I feel like last year I faded Brock Bowers a lot more than I should have because I was like, well, there's a bad quarterback play. It's a bad situation. But like realistically, he was one of their best receivers and he's just like one of the more talented pass catchers that they had. I think the same kind of argument can be made for Tyler Warren. And I don't want to make that same mistake 2 years in a row. And I know Warren's not Brock Bowers. And I'm not, please don't hear me say that. But like Tyler Warren is very good. And
he is. But Brock Bowers did that stuff for 3 years.
Okay, Tyler Warren's been good for a while. Like this, it wasn't like he came out of nowhere. Like he was fine.
I know he didn't come out of nowhere, but like
he also transitioned from quarterback to tight end. So it took him a minute.
I did see something where like Tyler Warren's stats like were a bit inflated. Like the last year, like it was like a big jump from like the second year to third year. So
erroneous on both counts. How many games did they do a thing where they didn't throw a touchdown pass? Like how long did that go on at Penn State?
They're often
many times. I mean, yeah. So the problem with Penn State is they had no wide receivers like whatsoever. I mean, they had them, but like they were all terrible.
He was a 1,000-yard receiver at Penn State last year.
Sure,
it's gonna take me forever to.
That's more than that's almost as much as Colston Loveland had in 2 years at Michigan. So
JJ McCarthy threw the ball 5 times a game.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And
other
then
receivers produced in Michigan.
Oh my lord.
So, real quick, I pulled up his stats. Tyler Warren, in 2023, he had 422 yards, and then in 2024, he had 1,200. So it was like a humongous jump from 23 to 24.
Part of it's the argument. A lot of people. Out of his ass.
I agree 100%. But I think the
I should just throw this guy.
Some of the arguments with like Loveland is like he did it kind of consistently in 2023 and 2024, right? Both years around 600 yards, 649 and 582. But again, I'm like kind of in the middle between you guys. I'm like, I'll pick one on one day and one on the other day.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, I'm taking Warren over Loveland, but
yeah, splitting hairs on this one.
Sure.
Should we get into some of the winners and losers of the draft here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Surprising winner. I'm shocked by this one. DeAndre Swift still being the lead running back in Chicago for the time being.
Yeah, dude, this one's wild.
Yeah.
Because Ben Johnson basically hates DeAndre Swift, or at least he used to, and now he's seemingly stuck with him. I think you could probably put Roschon Johnson in this list as well as a surprise winner because I think he's going to get the goal line touches because it's sure as hell not going to be Swift. They won't let that dude anywhere near the goal line, so someone's going to benefit from that, and it might be Roschon Johnson. But Swift, like they had so many picks in the first 3 rounds of the draft, and they didn't take one. They had every opportunity to take a running back, and they didn't. So I like DeAndre Swift here. I think it's going to be, and that offensive line got significantly better, right? You could argue they could probably use an upgrade at tackle, but the interior of the line's good, and it's light years better than it was last year. So not to mention the run scheme is going to be a lot more competent than it has been. I like DeAndre Swift, and
too bad he doesn't run.
The thing with him is that like every time he's been that's another issue, but every time like he's healthy and on the field, like he puts up good numbers for fantasy.
He is.
Part of it is that he's not always healthy, and he doesn't get the goal line touches. But where do you guys feel comfortable taking him?
Doesn't score.
Well, yeah.
Somebody always takes DeAndre Swift before I do. Like before I'm comfortable, somebody always takes him. That's what I'll say.
It wasn't that long ago. He was the running back 2 in Dynasty. Do you remember that?
I know. Yeah.
In Detroit?
Yeah. Trust me, I do. Yeah.
DeAndre Swift.
Oh yeah. You think the Lions fan didn't have a fair share of DeAndre Swift? Doesn't have a DeAndre Swift autograph sitting behind him right now?
So for me, I agree. I mean, I still have question marks on DeAndre Swift, but like in deeper rookie drafts that I have like 5 rounds, or like I'm going out there and I'm buying Kyle Monagay. I don't know exactly how to say it, but like either 5th round or on waivers, I'm gonna grab him because we don't know we really don't know if Ben Johnson likes DeAndre Swift or not. We don't know exactly, right? We don't know how much he likes.
No, he's not running between the tackles. We know
I do know.
Sneakily, I think Roschon Johnson's the one you want, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
That's going to be the volume.
And I do know, like, Monagay was obviously 7th round. So that's why listen to me closely. Like, I'm only giving him like waivers in 5th round. But I think if they like this guy, exactly 102. If they like him, he could find his way up the,
Yeah,
for sure.
Especially if he can do special teams, he'll get a roster spot. Swift. So I was just pulling on my rankings. I have him in that 111 to 202 tier. I don't know if I feel comfortable spending a late first on him.
Yeah, I don't.
But like, I think that's realistically where his market's going to go, right? And if you want to acquire him, I think that's what you're going to have to do. Now, I don't know. There's also the possibility that they replace him next year too. So like, you might just be getting a 1-year rental that doesn't get goal line touches. So he's hard for me because like I was ready to I think we were all ready to just like bury him, right? And I think what's biggest for him are the people that had him and they couldn't sell him for anything, and now they're like, well, hey, now there's actually some value here. He's not dead. And I think that's probably the biggest part of this is like your Swift shares. Maybe you have this year to move off of him and you have kind of a sell window as opposed to actively going out and trying to buy him.
Yeah, sure. So like, I was happy with this because last year on the team that I ended up winning, I sold a 1st round pick for him. Right. So like 112, and that's basically exactly where he ended up. Right. So like I was happy with that. So for me, I'm kind of tempering expectations a little bit. I'm not going to go out and buy because like I'd rather have RJ Harvey or whoever's there from that like 111 to 202 range. Sure. So I'd rather have any of those guys over Swift. But if I have him, I'm just going to keep him, right? I don't think I'm going to I'm not going to take a 204 or whatever for him. I think he's worth more than that. So like for me, I think he's a winner, but like I'm not going out there and like, okay, I'm going to go buy.
Yeah. So this is interesting.
201.
What?
Well, hold that thought.
Okay.
Just today, Swift went for the 210 on a league in Dynasty Daddy. Wow. I've also seen quite a few 2026 twos.
I'd do that all day. So I would buy Swift for 203.
A 26-2 or the 203 in this year's draft is where I would feel comfortable saying, okay,
I agree with that. Yeah. But yeah, no, like I've kind of started to look into 2026 a little bit. I like some of the quarterbacks. There's a lot of things that still need to shuffle and figure out. Obviously, we don't know about Arch Manning or not, but like overall, we don't. It's really like right now, it's not looking that great. So if you can move off of those 26 picks, I'd do it. I'd maybe try to switch, or flip those 26 for 27. Just like today, 2026 isn't looking very good in my opinion.
We say this every year.
We do
this every year. And then they're like, oh man, next year, I don't know, man. And then your games start in September, October, and like, you know what? These guys are sneaky good. And then in March, April, the combine comes around. People are like, you know what? This class is nice. And then they just start crapping on the next year. So it's a cyclical thing, right? Like
it is, yeah. But if you can, the reason I'm saying this, the reason I'm saying this is like 2027, in my opinion, is kind of loaded in the top end. So if you can switch from like flip from 26 to 27, I would do it. So I
heard there's no good wide receivers in 27.
Yeah, that's true. It sucks.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I think 26 has. I think there are guys there. I think there are quarterbacks that are going to come out. I think a couple of them are going to.
Hey,
are going to be good.
Don't get me wrong.
I think there's good running backs. There's at least 3 really good running backs that I like, maybe 4, depending on how you feel about Mekhi Hughes out of Oregon. And then the wide receivers are there. Like Cardinal Tate is a good player. Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State.
All right, we'll get into
it. But
later. I think there's talent there. Start telling me names I don't need to know yet.
Yeah,
I'm
just saying.
To learn the new ones.
Like as a whole today, or if you're in your rookie drafts and you are like, hey, I want to move in, like move into 25 with the 26 picks, or if you're like looking into, move some bigger packages or whatever, move your 26 and flip for 27s.
Come again?
Things like that, right? I love big packages. What can I say?
It doesn't.
Wow.
Colors of size queen
Clip
confirmed.
Clip it. As soon as we figure it out.
Here's the thing, though, with 26, because I think that sentiment is pretty like prevalent across the fantasy community. 26 class is down. I think the play could be to try to get 26 picks for cheaper, at least first rounders. I don't know if it's going to have the depth as some of these other classes have, like in the second round. But I think the first round there's still going to be talent. I think guys are going to pop up. So if you can get 2026,
there always is
picks at a depressed value, right? Like I think that might be the play here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. People always say that like picks, the incoming class is weaker and the picks are depressed in value, but people still like hold on to those things like their treasure and other, it's hard. It's hard. Next winner here, Jonnu Smith. Dolphins don't draft any pass catchers.
No, they didn't. And he was a tight end 4 last year. He's still, like, I think I looked earlier today, he was tight end 16 right now.
That's crazy.
On a couple of different sites. So I think he's a nice little buy. I think he's a good player. The Dolphins use him a ton. I mean, Tyreek Hill is still there, but like how mentally invested is he in the team? Like he checked out last year. Jalen Waddle's there. I like Waddle too. Obviously, they invested in the offensive line a decent amount in the draft, which is good to see. I think Jonnu Smith's still going to be useful. I think he's probably a good, a tight end 1 for sure. I think I don't know if he's tight end 4 again, but I think 6 to 12, and I think he should be pretty valuable. Jalen Waddle's a Ponzi scheme.
Perfect timing for our boy Kev to join. He's been saying to flip those 26 picks as well. So learn from the best.
Flip them. Next guy. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. We have to get into it.
Okay. Next guy here. I don't really know if he's a winner because he's not good. Jalen Tolbert. Listen. Just because you made that one trade with me, with Jalen Tolbert.
I did. I made a lot of trades for Jalen Tolbert last year.
I know you did.
It's looking good. Let me read you the wide receiver room. Let me read you the wide receiver room for Dallas.
There's no one.
CeeDee Lamb,
no one behind.
Good start.
CeeDee Lamb.
Jalen Tolbert, a little questionable for wide receiver 2. Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Brooks, Ryan Flournoy, Kevontae Turpin, who's like a gadget dude. That's their top 6 wide receivers.
Crazy.
Okay. I don't understand what happened, but I have a lot of Jalen Tolbert. Opportunity. He's the only one there. Like he's the only one there that's worth anything. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, obviously.
Mr. Ferguson would like a word.
Jalen Tolbert is greater.
Yes, I agree with that.
Oh
yeah, I was gonna say, Kev, you should tune out. But yeah, no, I agree.
I think one of them as a winner. I think the volume is a winner. It's not crapping on the Cowboys.
I think the volume's going to be there for Tolbert. Like he's probably going to just be open with his like no one's going to be on him. Be like, hey, throw me the ball. So I also think a winner is Wes. Ferguson, right? And yes, Wes. That's exactly what I was thinking in my head. I was like,
lump me in with.
Don't
lump me in with these two on that. I'm not. Nope. So he's more than that.
But yeah, no, I think you could have put on there like Ferguson is also a winner too. Like I think he's actually going to be super, super good this year.
Yeah.
Get lots of targets.
We should have waited.
I think the Cowboys offense should be fairly decent for the most part. It generally is, right? And I think Dak is good. I don't think there's going to be a huge run game that they can lean on necessarily. I mean, depending on how you feel about Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders.
Well, I can argue like Jaden Blue is a really good pick in the third because he could be their best running back.
He could be until he puts it on the turf again.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
he had one of the highest fumble rates in any running back. Now I know that doesn't always like translate, and sometimes guys clean it up, but a lot of times those fumbling problems they follow you.
They stay. Yeah.
So, and then he fumbles, they turn the ball over, and then they have to start throwing again. So
he probably had to get out of the state to leave him behind, to be honest.
Yeah, well, he did not do that. He didn't make it very far. So I think the other one too is Chase Brown. He survived. I know there was a lot of talk about the Bengals possibly taking a running back, but they did not. And so
I thought they did. I thought they took one guy.
Zach Moss. They did, but it was late.
Taj Brooks.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
He was.
I didn't watch any Taj. Yeah, I didn't watch it. Okay.
You didn't miss much. He's fine. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Oh, okay. So
he put up a lot of numbers. That's about it.
He's a threat to Zach Moss carries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But even that, I'm not that concerned about it. If you have Zach Moss, I wouldn't be overly worried.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. I mean, he can put up good numbers, but I just don't think he's going to really carve into any real of Chase Brown. So Chase Brown is a winner.
Sure.
How do you feel about acquiring Chase Brown? What are you willing to send if you were dead set on getting him?
So probably like 110. I don't know if that gets done, but I'm thinking in my head, like outside of, Genty, Hampton, Henderson, and Judkins. Like after that, I would like,
I was gonna say
I would want to get Chase
Judkins
Brown
or Chase Brown.
Yeah,
I would much rather have Judkins.
Yeah, I'd probably rather have Judkins, right? That's why I said 110 because I think that
one's tough.
I have Judkins at 108 and or Henderson and Judkins at 107 and 108, right? So like 109, 110, I would feel fine sending that for.
I have Chase Brown in the 109, 110 tier, just below the 105 to 108. So I think you're probably gonna have to do more of like the 106, 107
probably
to get Chase Brown, but I don't feel comfortable doing that because I feel good about him this year, but I think guys like that, it's always when are they going to replace him? The guys that didn't have like the high draft capital, he was an older running back coming out too. Are they going to pay a guy like that? The Bengals are pretty cheap. They just spent a ton of money on all their wide receivers and quarterback. Are they just going to replace him with another rookie at some point?
I think he's proved enough throughout one season of play, though, to at least land on another team with an opportunity to at least be part of that team's offense. I think he's
a good player. There. Yeah.
So if you do invest in him, I don't think it's like a completely dead kind of, asset. Even if he does leave Cincinnati, it could get a lot worse if he does leave Cincinnati, though.
I don't feel cozy like sending away a mid-first pick for a guy that maybe only has like 2 years, whereas I could spend it on like a Trayvon Henderson, and I know I'm going to get like 4 good years on a rookie deal out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you move a 20? Like say you were in the playoffs last year, and you're feeling pretty good about your team. Would you move a 26 first for Chase Brown?
Yeah, probably.
I would.
I don't know if that gets done. I think you're going to want more, and I wouldn't want to send more.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but I would do it.
But I would. I think he's going to help you. But also, I think you could I think what I would realistically do in that situation is try to send a second-round pick for like a James Conner or Tony Pollard and call it a day.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't the question, and I just caught myself out of an answer there, but
no, I mean, honestly, that's the way better move because it's just a cheaper investment. It doesn't feel as bad if it doesn't work out for you.
Or like Aaron Jones.
Right, and there's so many of those running backs, and really you just have to wait until the season because some of these people that think that they are competing are going to learn real quick.
Right now.
Yeah, everybody's competing. Everybody's
Yep.
competing except for, a handful of people out there that know for darn sure that like there is no way this thing is winning anything this year. Um, and you just kind of gotta wait for some of those teams to take themselves out of it too sometimes to get deals on some of these vets.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get into these losers?
Yeah, let's talk about some losers.
Okay, we got a trio in Chicago of DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Cole Kmet.
Yeah,
I think we can add. I was gonna say we can probably add Loveland and Burden to that too. Like it's just Bears pass catchers in general.
So I started doing projections. The one person I want is Caleb Williams, and I know I've come a long way on that because I used to crap on him, but like, if he can't do it this year, like he's never.
Oh yeah,
like this is one of the best collection of pass catchers that really anybody has, and now they have a pretty competent offensive line. If this offense isn't like a top 5 offense, then something's wrong. And I don't know if it's Caleb Williams or maybe Ben Johnson is better suited as a coordinator, not a coach. But how do you guys feel with like DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet? Cole Kmet, I feel like is the one that's just like the dude. You just go take him out back and bury him. But DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, I know they're still believers, at least in Rome. I don't know if it's just like hopium or what, but like. How do you guys feel about those assets that you have on your teams?
So, I think since I'm not like super high on Rome, I know some people have said, hey, Rome's probably the guy you want to have. But I still think DJ Moore is the guy you want to have for fantasy. I think he's the proven one. He's the one they probably want to get the ball to. But I think like it's hard to answer this right now. I think this is a team I really want to look at and kind of watch for not necessarily I'll have to watch the games, but like kind of the stats and see what's going on in preseason just to see how kind of some tendencies are going. Because Rome could be the guy that you want. But today I'm saying the guy I want is DJ Moore. But honestly, they're going to kind of cancel each other out, right? Rome was like sky high, like 102, 103. If you moved him before the draft for that, I'm thinking you're not feeling good at all. Because I would have rather wanted, Hampton or Tet or whoever there, right? So I just 100%. Don't feel good about that at all.
Where do you have Rome right now?
I haven't updated my rankings in a long time, but I have him. Oh, this is gross. Let me get back to you.
You're fine. I'll show you guys where I have him. I have him as like a late first right now. And I think I know I'm pretty much always lower on him than everyone, but I can't imagine spending like I would not feel comfortable sitting in 26 first for Rome Odunze. I don't know if I'm alone in that boat, but I can't talk myself into it. Because a lot has to go right for him to end up being the guy.
I'm not like, and it's not going to happen. He's really bad. Like, I think there's still like he still has a shot to be good just because of kind of what we mentioned earlier with all the dysfunction going on in Chicago. It's probably not the greatest place to come in for your rookie year with a rookie quarterback. None of that helps at all. I'm willing to give him the shot with, kind of the shares I have and not give up on him. I think he's probably worth a little bit more than that late one, but not much more than that. But also, like, once we get to like Tet, like I'm probably just taking Tet over Rome because like that feels more secure at this moment in time.
Like I take Matthew Golden over Rome Odunze too.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Like, is once we get to like Golden, I think you can at least say like Green Bay and their whole philosophy of we don't have a true wide receiver one. I could see where you can talk yourself into maybe Rome is the wide receiver one. I just think there's some stories you can tell yourself against Matthew Golden, production wise in college. And there's just a few things where you can pick at his game, and that's why I kind of think it's at Tet is the line because we know Tet is going to see volume with Bryce Young. We kind of know what we should expect from Tet at least there. So tell yourself your best story on,
yeah. So I have.
What about Egbuka? What about Egbuka? Are you gonna take Rome or Egbuka? Because like we all really
have
like
Rome
Egbuka,
over
but the
Egbuka.
landing spot. Okay,
I'm taking
the landing
Rome
spot of Egbuka
but
sucks.
Here's the thing, though, with like Rome,
losers.
it's like I'd rather. I don't have like a personal like opinion that I think he's going to end up being the guy in Chicago, and I am willing to basically be wrong and let someone else find out if he's going to be good, and I will pay
pretty much
a higher premium for him later if he ends up being the guy and it ends up being good.
Yeah,
I just I think it's more likely that he's not than that he is, and so I don't want to pay premium assets for a guy that I just don't believe in.
Yep, I agree. I'll probably take him. For me, he's probably wide receiver like 18. Kind of in a cluster with like JSN, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, and him are like right next to each other, right? So
give me all those guys over Rome.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a little more faith than you do, Spanky, but I'm kind of in that same boat. DJ Moore is the guy I want, so I have him over him. But yeah, I mean, he's not somebody I'm going out and buying, and he's also somebody I'm not going out and selling. I'm just going to hold on to my Rome shares that I have. I don't have many, but that's just, what I'm not going to go out. I think people are like, if I wanted to move him, I would have tried to move him before the draft, just because he was like kind of high in the, his price was pretty high.
Do you think you could trade him straight up for Devonta Smith?
I think so.
I would. I think that'd be the pick
I would
do.
Yeah,
I
would.
Yeah.
What about Zay Flowers? Who do you want out of those two?
Oh boy,
I'll take Zay.
I want Zay Parade, and I think that's one where I think most people are gonna have Rome.
Most everybody's gonna have Rome. Yeah. I want the gadget man himself, Zay Flowers over.
You
Rome.
Stop calling him that.
He's a good gadget guy.
He's a very good gadget man.
He's not like a Tavon Austin gadget guy. He's like a legit, like this guy can play.
Legit gadget guy, yeah. He's not the gadget guy that you make fun of, yeah.
He's a gadget. So. He's got routes on his belt, that's for sure. Dak Prescott loser because wide receiver room still sucks.
Yeah.
I still like Dak for what it's worth. I think this just made him even more of a cheap option.
Right.
I think their offense is going to be like.
I think offense will be fine. It always is.
Yes.
Like,
he can stay healthy. He'll be fine.
What'd you say, Ron?
I said I don't think we need to go back into the Cowboys as you guys proceeded to go back into the Cowboys. So I just started kind of laughing
because we should hit on the next guy.
We talked about the Cowboys. We did.
So this is going to be kind of maybe hot takey a little bit, but I think Kyren Williams is a little bit of a loser, right? They second year in a row they drafted I think it's a 4th round running back this year.
Yeah,
Corum was in the 3rd, and we saw that Corum is meh. I don't think I don't know. It'll be more interesting to see what happens this year because it does take time for rookies outside of Puka to kind of make their stamp on Sean McVay. But they are spending, worthy capital on a running back. I don't think it's great for Kyren, and they can move off of him or move on from him until I think it's going to be a possibility until he's signed.
I think,
and if
the way the Rams operate, they're very analytically minded and they're very cognizant of the cap. I don't think they value spending a lot of money on a running back, and so I think they're content to let Kyren Williams walk and just say between Blake Corum and Jarquez Hunter, hopefully one of these two is good, and and Sean McVay can figure out how to make the offense work with either one.
Yep.
So
I agree,
think
100%.
There's a very strong chance that Kyren Williams is not a Ram next year.
They're all the same running back too.
Yeah, they
certainly have a type, right?
Yeah.
So
the comp for Hunter apparently was Corum, and the comp for Corum was Kyren.
It was Kyren Williams. Yeah, I know. They definitely have a type. So I think this could very well be the last year we see of Kyren Williams. For fantasy and redraft, they're just gonna run the dude in the ground and just say, okay, bye.
Yeah. So I think this is more of a long-term loser than anything. I still like Kyren Williams for the year. I think the Rams, their offense is going to be really good. But I just think long-term, I'm kind of with you, Spanky. I just don't see the Rams, spending that type of money on a running back.
I don't either.
We'll see. Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, the Jaguars double dipped at
dead
running back.
Both are dead.
Listen,
Tank in particular.
You can't kill a tank, guys.
Well, they did.
Okay, well, show me the science, first of all.
The science is they spent 2 picks at running back, which tells me that they weren't super stoked about their running back room.
Listen,
so I would imagine
new regime, just give Tank a chance to just work his magic and just get on that field, and they're gonna be like, "Wow!"
So he can fumble again.
We do like Tank. You know what? He wasn't fumbling last year. You knock it off. He cleaned it up.
Tootin fumbles the ball too, but no, I like Brayshaw Tootin. I like the landing spot. So I do think you should be worried about Etienne and Tank Bigsby.
And Quint Allen's good. Like, let's not get it twisted. The dude's a crazy good pass catcher too. Like, he could legitimately be like their best third down back already.
Well, that's not Tank's problem.
Well, it is, because how is he getting on the field?
That's Etienne's problem.
Well, Tank's not getting on the field in first or second down. You're running out of downs here, man.
Dude, he don't worry about it. He's the
takeover's
coming. The takeover's coming.
Yeah.
Takeover's coming.
Stop the takeover's coming. I'll continue. I'll stop interrupting. I'll stop interrupting with my terrible arguments for Tank Bigsby and why he should be on the field.
I just think Travis Etienne's value was already pretty depressed. This doesn't help matters, right? Like, I still think he has a role in the offense, but like, man, I don't feel good about it. And I think he's probably not going to be in Jacksonville for a long time. And I don't think he's done enough where he's going to necessarily get a contract somewhere else. Like, I mean, he'll get a contract. He'll be on a team. Don't get me wrong. But like, I don't think he's getting
somebody would trade
big money. Well, but why? Because he's on the last year of his deal, right?
Dallas traded for Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, well,
it's true. I mean,
not everyone.
And Dallas was the team I was going to float. Dallas was the team I was going to float out there.
Yeah, but they only get like old, washed-up running backs. Travis Etienne in about 4 years can be in Dallas.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair. I'm just, if somebody was going to
Kevin's still listening, I'm sorry. That was a low blow.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole room is a little murky, so I think something to watch for. But I just think stock down for Etienne and Bigsby.
I'm not worried until proven otherwise, even though I liked Brayshaw Tootin. But I think
worried about it.
I think that Tootin's probably a kick returner.
I think he is too, but I think
they're going to use him.
I think they're going to use him.
I mean, you're going to try to get that speed on the field, that's for sure.
And I think Quint Allen has he's a good enough player. I think he has a skill set. He can make the roster too. I think he can make the 53.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Etienne or Bigsby not on the team, like when the season starts. Yeah.
See you, Travis. Still, Tank will be on this team.
Right. Too much love for Tank, man.
What has he done?
I'll never give up on Tank. Anyway, do you guys have anything else for the people?
No, just that I think it's weird that you like Tank Bigsby so much.
I do too.
Hate Zach Charbonnet when they're basically the same player. But
listen,
Charbonnet's better.
Look, no, the whole thing was the whole reason that the Tank Bigsby Zach Charbonnet thing started is because I said I think that Tank Bigsby has the exact same skill set as Zach Charbonnet, and Zach Charbonnet was going at 110, and Tank Bigsby was going at 208. I'm just
and we've been and the Charbonnet stands have been correct.
Oh my Lord! Oh my! You're paying 110 for a backup running back. You're okay with that?
Yeah, but when he's on the field, he's awesome. When Tank's on the field, he's just.
Give Tank that volume. Give Tank that volume.
He's not.
I mean, he kind of got it.
He kind of got it, and he's not good with it because Etienne was banged up a ton, and Bigsby never did anything. Yeah, so, and then they drafted 2 running backs.
Jaguars are terrible.
Okay,
don't worry about it.
So now the Jaguars.
Now I'm all frustrated. I'm gonna go storm around my house for an hour.
Ron's gonna be pacing around his house, not being able to
go wake all my kids up. Hey, everybody get up in the backyard.
Everyone was crap talking Tank Bigsby.
Get the shovels out.
All right. We're going off the rails, so I think with that we should probably call it. But good show. Thank you for watching, everybody. Appreciate it for tuning in and commenting. Be sure to stick with us and check us out next week. Peace out.
See ya.